Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Welcome back. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving and looking forward to a good holiday season. Welcome to today's Weekly Success Builder. We are very fortunate to have Jason Dickinson with CIC Credit on today's call. And I think it's very timely for him to be on here because we're all getting notifications about increases to our credit report fees. And so, Jason, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Valerie. Appreciate you.
Do you want to just, for people that don't know you, do you want to just give a little bit about some information about yourself, just so they can kind of see that you're kind of one of the industry experts in the topic?
Yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate it. I've been here at CIC Credit as a senior account executive for going on 21 years now, and I was at Equifax for 5 years before that. I met with thousands of mortgage companies over the year, go to all the trade shows and events, and keep up to date with everything. We're one of the larger credit reporting agencies in the country, and kind of have our finger on the pulse of what's going on with the industry and the mortgage industry and credit information and everything needed to help you guys succeed.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, you're kind of our go-to guy, at least for my company. You may not want to get our calls, but you get them anyway.
You guys are pretty nice. It's all I love it. I love working with you. And I see a few people on the call that I work with as well. So it's good to see you all.
Awesome. And what I'll do as we go through these questions is I'm going to put your contact info in the chat for anybody who may want to reach out
Mhm.
post call and just ask you a couple questions. Okay, great. So let's
Great.
kick it off. So here's the first question. Why is pricing increasing?
Right. Thank you for that question. And I know that's what we're here to learn about. It's been kind of substantial price increases. This is the third year it's been going up quite a bit. It's every credit vendor is dealing with it, whoever you use for credit reports. And honestly, I mean, it's pretty transparent on who's increasing the price. It's not only the three major credit bureaus, but also the scoring company that makes the score and provides the score to all of us. So it's a collective um, grouping of all this information put together that increases the cost. So, we get the cost from them and we pass it on. We can't lose money every time we get a price increase. That happens once a year. It just says December 1st. It's kind of like the elf. It comes every year, whether you like it or you don't like it, it's coming. And we've learned to accept that. It's kind of more so of how you deal with these price increases. I can't stop them from increasing the price, and none of us can, but we can deal with it and strategize and help you make a good formula for success. Maybe make some changes, maybe pivot off of some things and order these instead of those reports moving forward. So I think the way you strategize and the way you handle what's looked at as a bad situation can really help your company succeed for 2026. So I go to a lot of these trade shows and get a lot of nasty looks and have a lot of questions like your fees are too high, but it's really not us, but we can help customize a plan for your company moving forward. And I really have a lot of good strategies for 2026, I think, that can help you be successful and not have your fees be the highest expense of your mortgage company. So we can talk about that in a little bit.
Awesome.
Oh, and then one other thing on that, we get this price increase from the bureaus and in the score company. But at least my company, CIC Credit, we're not increasing our fees on anything we don't have to. So supplements, we're not increasing the fees on those. Rapid rescores, the score simulator tools. If you order like tax return verifications or floods, none of those prices are increasing whatsoever in 2026, at least with our company, because we're not getting any price increases on those. So we just simply get a price increase and pass along that to you.
Oh, great. And of course, and Jason makes a good point. Of course, reach directly out to your credit provider. Um, you know, just like we shop for, insurance and other discounts, maybe, it's time as things are changing. Maybe you do want to take a look at your credit provider and see what the different pricing models are. Um, you know, so obviously, if you're with CIC, of course, they don't want you to shop, but if you're with someone else, you may want to just check out and see what other vendors' pricing looks like. But of course, reach out directly to your current provider so that they can give you more information on what their pricing increases look like if they haven't already, which I presume they probably have. Okay, next question. So the trigger leads legislation passed and was signed into law in September. It has a 6 month date before it goes into effect. So it was actually September 5th that President Trump signed that bill into law. So trigger leads will effectively no longer be a product that will be able to be used for mortgage related purposes by the credit bureaus starting March 5th. So what is that going to look like once March 5th rolls around?
A few things, and it's very exciting. Trigger leads have been a major problem. They've been around for 20, 25 years, but the past few years, they've been a very aggressive trigger leads. I'm sure you know, if you don't, it's when you pull a hard pull report and then, hundreds of or 50 or 20 or how many calls, text, emails go out to your mortgage company to try to steal your company, your borrower away from you. It's pretty rough. It's pretty terrible. So that's going away. So a few things could, you're pulling soft pulls. A lot of companies pull the soft pulls to avoid the trigger leads. They go under the radar of trigger leads. Well, soft pulls aren't as inexpensive as they used to be either. So maybe soft pulls won't be ordered as much. Just an idea. Maybe you still use the soft pulls, of course, but that might not be a strategy you use if the trigger leads are gone anymore. So that might be less of a cost to you. Going back many years ago, 15, 20 years ago, the credit reports, you used to pull a one bureau hard pull report, kind of get a good idea of what the score is, what's on the actual report. Maybe you read the whole report and look at it. On a one bureau report, save yourself a lot of money. If it's not a good report on one bureau, maybe move on, or maybe just pull a second bureau and see what's going on there, and then ultimately upgrade it to a tri-merge. Those are cost saving strategies you could utilize um, moving forward. You can pull a pre-qual. Now we have pre-qual reports that can be reissued in an AUS, in a Freddie Mac LP. You can pull a soft pull, reissue even a one bureau report into get findings from the AUS, one bureau, two bureau, or three bureau. So that can be an amazing way to get a pre-qual, a little less expensive. Um, but overall, I think the trigger lead, you can really adjust your strategy. I talked to hundreds of mortgage companies, and they all have a different philosophy on how they want to handle it. But if I can lay out all the strategies for you, you may find a fit for you that can save you some money, different from just pulling a tri-merge hard pull every single time.
Okay,
There are
great.
some other options on saving money. Some mortgage companies are going to charge their borrowers upfront for reports. If you do that, there's a very easy way to charge your borrowers upfront with a link. It's called Smart Pay Link, we call it. You can send the borrower a link, and they fill out their name, address, social. They authorize you to order the report right there, and they type in their credit card information. Uh, and then they pay for the report. You get the report emailed to you and the file number at least, and then you can import that into your LOS. The report's already paid for. That could be a cost saving strategy for your mortgage company if you decide to take that route.
Awesome. Do you have any other strategies or solutions that mortgage companies could use in 2026 just regarding credit in general?
Uh, you know, I went over a lot of those leads, and maybe I got ahead of myself there a little bit, but I think the one bureau soft pull pre-qual where you can reissue it in the AUS will be a big hit this year. I think even going back kind of old school, 2005, I started with CIC Credit, and credit reports, a tri-merge hard pull was $10. And believe it or not, people would really, really complain about $10 being way too much for a tri-merge hard pull. So I've seen this before, but they would pull a one bureau $3.50 report. just check it out and then go from there. So I think maybe that one bureau hard pull could catch steam again, kind of bring it back vintage. But maybe every company is going to have a lot different strategies. So we'll see how it goes. Also, VOEs. I know a lot of brokers have to order VOEs now. The Work Number is a big company. They charge a lot. Equifax owns the Work Number. They charge a lot for their reports. Experian Verify has really caught steam recently. Their database is much bigger with Experian Verify, which is a VOE with income information that's accepted by Fannie and Freddie. So I think you can save a lot of money, and I can talk to you one-on-one about this, about the Experian VOE with income that competes directly with. You might find a lot of cost savings there as well.
Okay, great. Also, as we're going through this, if anybody does have any specific questions, you can either raise your hand or you can just type it in the chat as we go along. The last time we had you on here, we talked about Vantage Score.
Mhm.
Any new information on that? And, is their cost of credit going to be very similar to what FICO's is in 26?
I was hoping in December to have a lot more information about the Vantage score. I don't, but as you know, since FICO's done this once again and increased the fee, I feel like Vantage score will talk about it being used, being accepted, in the real life, being in all the systems. I think that will pick up steam, and I don't have any information on when it will be. I've heard maybe 6 months, maybe longer. I really don't know. So we'll find out more about Vantage, but with competition brings lower costs. So if that was a thing, the case, I think it could be a good thing for the industry. We'll find out.
What do you think about, FICO put out that press release the beginning of October about their, what they're calling a cost-cutting direct license program for mortgage
Mhm.
lending.
Right. Yeah, we're very transparent about that. I know we put that on our pricing update letter we sent all of our clients. It goes over a little more details. Overall, it really doesn't save money. They wanted to go direct to the resellers and skip over the bureaus. There was a lot of it's called a lot of technology fees, a lot of added fees, a lot of extra cost involved with doing that. We are fine with doing it, but it doesn't save any money at all. And which was unfortunate because it sounded like a great news article and it sounded like a great idea. And we were very hopeful that it would work and save money. But unfortunately, we looked at all the numbers. I think a lot of credit reporting agencies looked at all the numbers and it really just didn't save any money at all,
Mm.
which I think was the point of the whole thing. So, um,
Yeah, I'm sure it was because it seemed, it's like FICO's blaming the bureaus are blaming FICO. So FICO's kind of looking at some sort of a strategy or a way to eliminate or get themselves out of the spotlight for potentially causing credit report increases. But so, well, that's kind of disappointing, but not surprising, I suppose.
yeah, and we have a good relationship with all of them. We provide their data and bring it to you, but we just want to be transparent on, what we think is the best solution for the mortgage companies, for the borrowers. So, hopefully things change and the best we can do is help you strategize and pull reports. Don't pull more reports than you need. Don't get more information than you have to get to close your loans. But um, yeah, and maybe that'll change down the road because it's being looked at, of course. And if there's a good idea, we want it to work. We want it to actually be a good solution.
So, do pricing changes only happen once a year? Because I know everybody's thinking, okay, well, Trigger Leads is going away. That's going to cause another increase once that source of revenue is eliminated. So, are we going to be, how often do these pricing models are these pricing costs change? Whether they increase or decrease. Is it usually just the end of every year, or are we going to see something else in Q2?
For the past 20 plus years, it's been once a year. I
Okay.
haven't heard anything that there's going to be any sort of mid-year price increase at all. So there's no dead set rule on that, but I've never seen any price increase midway through the year. It's always been one time per year. And I think I remember a couple years, many years ago with no price increase. So, but or very, very small. So it's typically one time per year. And I haven't heard anything that would make that any different this year.
And I'm assuming there's no caps. The amount.
I don't know anything anymore.
Yeah.
No, so yeah, I don't think there's any. Usually it's one time per year, but I don't know if that's a dead set rule. I know we have to give advance notice if there is any price increase, but we would never increase a price unless we got a cost increase from the bureaus, and they've only done that one time per year, historically
Okay.
speaking.
Well, let's to wrap this up, let's give everyone the top three ways that they can save money on their credit report fees. And you probably will just be repeating some things that you said
Yeah.
earlier, but let's just kind of wrap this up in a bow. Give them the top three ways they can save money.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to depend on your company, of course. I bring out nice solutions to companies and they'll tell me that's a great idea. Another company will say that's not a good idea for them. But, pull a one bureau at first, whether it's a soft pull or a hard pull, just to see what you're dealing with in general and take it from there. Um, Decide if you're going to order soft pulls at all and decide if you are going to order soft pulls, are they going to be the soft pulls that can be reissued in the AUS and in the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac system. And then I think the thing we're not talking about, maybe the VOEs, maybe look at the other option for VOE companies, because that can be a sneaky way to spend a lot of money that you didn't intend to. Um, are you going to use that trigger lead option thing going away just to pull the one bureau hard pull? Maybe that's the future, and maybe that's going to help you quite a bit. So there's three or four different options you can look at and decide, and you can change midway. Um, Look at your ratios on, are you pulling a lot of one person reports? Are you pulling a lot of joint reports? And kind of negotiate and look at your credit vendor and say, maybe you can offer me a lower price on one person if I pay higher for a joint report, things like that. So there can be options. If you have a dedicated account rep, I know at CIC Credit, everyone has a dedicated account rep with 15 or 20 years experience. We like to look at you, customize a plan that's better for you, and we show you how much you can save if you do it this way versus that way. So I think that's an added benefit you can use. Not to pump my own company. I'm sure other companies have dedicated account reps. I know them all and they're wonderful. So I would talk to your account rep and kind of look at what's best for your specific mortgage company, because all of the mortgage companies are very different in many different ways, different clientele, different styles of LOs, different experience. So I would look at all that. And maybe if you want to charge your borrowers up front for the credit reports, some companies are moving towards that. Look at doing that. Look at using a Smart Pay link or other things. Maybe charge them for one bureau, whatever the case may be.
Okay, awesome. Good tips for everyone. Well, I appreciate you getting on here
Thank you.
the day after we're all getting back from the holiday weekend. And I once again I put Jason's contact info in the chat just in case anybody would like to reach out to him post this call. And I hope everybody makes this week a success and we have a great finish to 2025. So thanks so much, Jason, and we'll see everybody next Monday.
Thank you, Valerie. Have a great day.
Bye bye.
Thanks.